Right here on Power Breakfast on Citizen TV, we continue with this very hot topic of party primaries, the outcome, the disputes, the resolution, the integrity of the process. Was it a process that we can say actually gave us the right leaders or not? And this is across all parties. My panelists today, Senator Kimani Wamatangi Kiambu, Senator Boni Halwale Kakamega, and Bwana Karanja Kabage, an aspirant for the Senate seat, Nakuru County, have all had different experiences. Senator Halwale, for example, did not have to go through party primaries. He got a direct ticket by Fort Kenya to vie for the governor's seat of Kakamega County. Senator Kimani Wamatangi contested and won the Jubilee Party ticket to contest for the Senate seat, which he has already now to defend that position come August. Bwana Karanja Kabage sought the Jubilee Party ticket. He was unsuccessful in that bid. Now he's going for the elections as an independent candidate. Now, gentlemen, of course, everyone has a different opinion, but when it comes to the issues of money and resources, I think we tend to agree. We've had so much being bandied around that Senator Wamatangi, just for the party primary, spent as much as 50 million shillings. Bwana Kabage, there's the amount you spent, and the difference between Jubilee postponing the party primaries for a matter of 3 days, and what difference that makes. And of course, Bwana Halwale there sitting pretty and knowing that, yes, I did not have to spend that much. Yes, but do you think that the amount of money, Bwana Karanja Kabage, you spent is what is stopping you from just saying, it's enough, let me go back to my businesses? That probably you put in quite a lot of money and you're saying, no, this investment, it has to count for something.
No, you know, for me, when I win or lose election, it is not going to make a difference to me financially. I can assure you that. It's not my reason for going for the elite. Nothing to do with financial at all. I will borrow. I will conduct myself as I've always been. But the point of the matter is this, and I want to say this.
Mogul.
No. I want to say this for the sake of, you see, public offices, like parties, but like elections. This is not something that we play around with because of money or no money. It is, you are, a Kenyan is doing two things. They are conferring trust and confidence to a political class that will do the following. One, they are going to determine what taxes are going to be paid by you, Mwananchi. Two, what development are going to be executed by them on your behalf as Mwananchi. Three, what kind of foreign policy will be conducted by these people that I'm choosing. Four, what kind of international commitment are going to be entered to me on my behalf by these leaders. Five, what kind of conditions, or what kind of expenditures are going to be incurred for education, for health, for infrastructure. Those decisions are going to be made by these people you have elected. Now, if you elect people that don't have you in mind, then I can assure you, this country will never exploit its potential for and on behalf of the public for whom you are being conferred authority. Therefore, as a Kenyan, I want to legitimately determine who is going to be that person that will exercise authority on my behalf. And if I have no way of determining who is this person, then what am I saying? Touch wood, nothing happens. And that's a tragedy.
But the issue of money, because we see quite a number of politicians spending a lot of money just to get that ticket, including dishing out money to these people who end up voting for them.
Let me tell you, and I think this issue is very going to be, why it becomes very, very important is this. I've said in this forum before that we must have nominations conducted by IEBC. Let me tell you right now, and Wamatangi told you when we were in a break, that the two elections that took place in Jubilee, one on 21st that failed, and the other on 26th, in my own case, it was inordinately very expensive, extremely expensive. And it would have been better, in my opinion, If I was told,
when you say expensive, how much money are we talking about here?
For example, just to conduct a nomination alone,
from an aspirant's perspective.
From an aspirant perspective, and I want to tell you about myself. One day, where you have got 900 polling stations with about 4,000 agents, to spend less than 6 million shillings is a dream.
On a day?
One day. Now, we lost that money. We lost that money, and no candidate will tell you they did not. Because Nakuru, for example, is not even like Kiambu. Nakuru County is bigger than Nairobi, Murang'a, Kirinyaga, and Kiambu put together by 838 square kilometers. You get what I mean? So when Wamatangi, Mheshimiwa Wamatangi say that he went to all his polling stations,
not possible. In
contrast to me, it's not possible. One constituency alone, Naivasha, is bigger than Kirinyaga County. Do you understand? Now, Girigiri is bigger than Kirinyaga County. If you take, for example, Kiambu, Murang'a, and Nyeri, do you know Nakuru County is bigger by 474 square kilometers? Now, for me to
talking about 900
I'm talking about
stations.
There are 900 polling stations, and you have got agents, not one, maybe two per polling station. Then you have so-called mobilizers and so forth. It's an expensive enterprise. I would rather, let me be honest with you, IBC told me, Karanja Kabage, I'm raving on you 1 million shillings for me to conduct credible election. It would have been cheaper for me and any other country.
6 million shillings a day.
Do you understand?
It's not little money. Senator Wamatangi, one of the people who've hosted here actually said you spent around 50 million shillings just for the party primaries.
Who was that?
I'll tell you.
Who was doing my... Who was doing
that was an understatement.
My bookkeeping. No,
50 million shillings to any Kenyan watching. Anyone wonders, because even when you calculate the kind of salary you're going to get from Senate in the next 5 years, if you get that job, it doesn't make sense. And this is just the nominations. You've not even started campaigning for the real election.
Let me start from what Karanja Kabage said. You remember in Jubilee, we said from the word go, the most ideal position for us would have been if IEBC conducted nominations. That is the best way.
Do you think it would have been cheaper for you if IEBC conducted nominations?
Let me also concur with what Khalwale had said earlier, that most of the political parties do not have capacity. Almost all don't have capacity to conduct an election at the level one would call a level of excellence, the way IEBC would closely come to when conducting the general election. But then let me also take that fast forward, and maybe in an answer to what Khalwale said. One, see, in Jubilee, we had made a commitment, and we were operating from a central structure. For example, this is the time when you open, this time when you close. And when I said, for example, that I went to most of my polling stations, that's right. Because in my county, you can be able to crisscross through those and at least sample the big polling stations, and you know what is happening. That's precisely what I did. Maybe it's just the timing. Around, I remember I was with Khalwale at around 8 there. It's just the timing, but I spoke to my people, and I would generally draw a line and say, and this is what I've said, that I have been to nominations before, and I know how chaotic nominations are. Probably because Khalwale never went to nominations this time, and most of his friends and allies in NASA chose the opposite way of being undemocratic or untruthful to what they have pledged to be. Because, you know, I've said this, and let's make this statement of fact. I would want to, because it's also right that we lead Kenyans to what is true. You see, political parties, if we are going to get this thing right, the pursuit we must engage in is to ensure that we raise the level and standard and capacity of political parties to be able to conduct nominations. But the reverse of what Khalwale says, that you can sit in a boardroom and say that the nominee for Kiambu is Wamatangi without competition, and that the nominee for Nakuru is Kabage without competition, the way he did to himself, by him getting or giving himself as a party leader, a deputy party leader, the ticket to run for Kakamega governor unchallenged is undemocratic. It is illegal.
And they issue money.
Because you see, if we allow that everybody who has either the position that Khalwale has got as a deputy party leader or has got the connection because they are known to the next person can confirm themselves to be candidate or appoint their own people, what difference does it make? I mean, how would you juxtapose that with corruption? Because I mean, it is political corruption itself.
You've just said no party is able to conduct proper primaries.
Yes, and the point is,
so
what I said is extremely simple to comprehend. That at the point where we are in right now, when we are conducting our party nominations, the best we can do is to ensure that we have put in place the mechanisms, for example, like the ones that Jubilee did. The ideal position, the ideal way forward, or the fallback position is not what NASA did. To go and first give 850 direct nominations, then to declare a winner here and the loser, call him a loser after a few minutes, and for the big bosses in the parties to give themselves the nominations. That's not the way it is. Now, on the question of money, expenses, how expensive it is to run an election in a county is not a cheap affair. Because Karanja says he has got 900 polling stations. In Kiambu, we have 556 polling stations spread across 12 sub-counties. And so if you are going to be having an agent in every of those polling stations, and for example during nominations you have got 2 mobilizers in that in every polling station, and in many cases you have more than 2 mobilizers, that means, like for example, my wage bill for a day of conducting those nominations, I'm having to deal with more than 2,000 individuals whom I have given that job. So he's correct. Like for example, when we ran the aborted one on Friday, and then came to redo it again, that was a big blow to every politician. It was very, very expensive. As to the amount that you said, that somebody said that I had spent 50 million. I've not gone to my books, but I will be doing that very soon. But
maybe the figure I give you is a modest
one thing that I can assure you, one thing that I can assure you is that it is extremely expensive, and that's why you found most of the candidates, even in my own county, chose to go in groups. You remember in Meru there was a group calling itself Kikali. In Kiambu there was a United for Kiambu. The others, maybe when people do it that way, but unfortunately, for example, like myself, when I was running my campaigns in Kiambu, because my position is the position of a senator, and whoever wins in a contest, for example, in the governor's race, has got to be the person I'll be oversighting. I am put in a position whereby I have to run my campaign in the parallel, such that if A wins or B wins, then when we meet out there, after the party level now,
you cannot be associated.
Now we win and we're able to join probably at the party. But in terms of these dealings of here and there, you still have the legitimacy, the space, and also the guts to be able to carry out your mandate without being a carry boy.
Are we saying, Senator Khalwale, that if you have no financial might equivalent to the one probably Bwana Karanja Kabage has, or Senator Matangi, then you have no space, because you cannot therefore take yourself through party primaries, leave alone campaigning for the main election?
The first admission I want to make, and I agree with Matangi 100%, is that elections are not a cheap affair at all. If you take, for example, Kakamega County, by the time I visit the polling station at Doho Primary School in Yala, next to Siaya County, and by the time I go and visit Nangili Primary School in Moisbridge, next to Transoya in Kitale, the distance, the equivalent distance, is like if I had driven from Kakamega and I've reached Mau Summit coming to Nairobi. It's far. To have that done, you need to invest in logistics. So if you have no financial plan on how to do that, it remains a pipe dream, for real. Where the dots start failing to connect is where does the money come from.
Exactly.
In the case of Kabake, for example, and I really respect him, maybe he needed to be mistreated at the nomination of Jubilee for him to cross Damascus. Because clearly, this is not the soul who has been on this panel all these months with us.
He has changed.
This is Paul. For this reason, that he's spoken so candidly, and he's right, that we are lying to aspirants. We are taking their money in the name of nomination fees when we know that we are not going to subject them to a free and fair, credible nomination exercise. We have to admit it. So, when you see business people like Kabake come into politics, they are tired. In fact, they are sick and tired, because most of them sponsor us. Just like in the US, good
So
candidates get sponsors.
That is where the money comes from.
Yes, good candidates get sponsors even in the US. Now, they are sick and tired, and they say, I have been sponsoring these young people all these years that they have been doing, and they are not delivering. The taxes are not getting better. The prices of foods are not getting any better. The business environment is not improved. Let me go in there and do it myself. Then he runs into the problem he ran in. He then attempts, in a period of 3 months, to spend enough money to win. It's not possible. Even the people who succeed, like some of us, we make a decision early, and you start spending small, but over a long period of time.
But you still get to spend a lot of money.
Over a long period of time, so that you can win the hearts and minds of the voters. But the rich people will come overnight, like in Kakamega, I was involved in an election where my opponent was throwing money from a helicopter to drop to the people quickly. He wants the money to reach. He did. I've seen it. I've run against opponents who are campaigning with choppers when I am on border. So the rich, I want to forgive them, because we have frustrated them as the people they invest in. They pay our salaries. Then we don't deliver. So they are saying, let's go in there and do it themselves. Let me give you an example of the owner of this station. One day he called me to his office, and I thought we were going to have to. And he lectured me how he is frustrated with what we don't do as elected people. We are failing the business community. We are failing the professional people by coming to the office where they have donated their sovereignty to us, and we start pursuing personal agenda.
Okay.
Let me tell you in conclusion. Let me tell you in conclusion, Wamatangi, for example, in view of what you and I do in our other lives. Why would you trust a nomination process in Jubilee or ODM or Fort Kenya when, on one hand, in Starehe, Jaguar is announced the winner. After a short while, Commander is declared the winner, and after another review, Jaguar becomes the winner. In ODM, Mbadi is declared the winner. After a short while, it is Karolio Mondi who is declared, and now it is Mbadi again. In Fort Kenya, where Jack Wamboka is given a certificate, and after these people come to us with complaint, you find that the guy was being given that certificate when goons were almost killing the returning officers. It's not possible.
Actually, my concern,
we're not done with this topic. Senator, we have to take another break. We're not done with this topic of nominations, because now that you brought in Starehe, and it's also on the front page of the Daily Nation, that all this nomination process, especially in Kiambu, in Jubilee, has actually managed to do away with all the Murang'a bigwigs from Nairobi politics. We'll be looking at that, plus any other issue that you have to bring. We'll be back with that.
Who are the Murang'a people?